The 10 Cardinal Sins of Fat Loss. Sean here from Fit Fusion Brotherhood. I own a gym for 10 years. I've coached thousands of clients. I've seen some amazing transformations along the way, but I've also seen a lot of people struggle with the same type of mistakes over and over again. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 10 cardinal sins, the 10 biggest mistakes that you can make if your goal is fat loss. One of these alone can sometimes be enough to completely stall all of your progress. So let's get into it. We got 10 different things here that you want to make sure you don't fall victim to. Number 1, thou shalt not rely on motivation. The amount of times that I've heard people tell me the reason they can't succeed is just because they're not motivated. And then I tell them, no one's motivated all the time. Motivation comes and goes. If you feel motivated, of course you want to act, but it's transient. It doesn't stay, it doesn't last. I don't know anyone who's motivated all the time. So if you're relying on motivation to succeed, you're going to fail. It's like relying on willpower to succeed the whole time as well. So instead, you want to have systems, you want to have a good environment, and you want to have inspiration instead of motivation. So inspiration is just a simple reminder to yourself of why you're doing this. So whenever you're feeling unmotivated or lazy, instead of waiting for that motivation, just remind yourself why you're doing this. Okay, so number 1, don't rely on motivation. Number 2, thou shalt not try to out-train a bad diet. So I know a lot of guys out there that see exercise as kind of like a reward, or food is a reward from exercise. So they'll do a really good workout and they think they can just go crazy and eat a ton of food to try to make up for it. Fortunately, it's a lot easier to take in calories than it is to burn off calories. So unless you're a professional athlete, you're not going to out-train a bad diet. Okay, so make sure your nutrition is the foundation and your exercise supports that. Number 3, thou shalt not undereat protein. Especially during fat loss, protein is super important because it's going to help you feel full for longer. So it's going to help curb some of those hunger cravings that you're inevitably going to get. But protein is also going to help with your muscle. You don't want to lose muscle when you lose fat. You want to minimize that as much as possible. And also, protein is going to help you not only feel full, not only preserve muscle, but it's going to help you burn additional calories through digestion as well. And it's also going to help with your recovery. So protein is a very important thing, especially during fat loss. Make sure you're not neglecting it. Number 4, thou shalt not neglect strength training. So same reasons as I mentioned with the protein, strength training is going to help build and maintain muscle. When you're losing fat, you want to prevent your body from losing muscle. That's a trade-off that you should never want to make. Very few things that you can do to actually build or speed up your metabolism. Strength training and building muscle is one of them. So make sure strength training is the foundational element of your exercise routine. Number 5, thou shalt not ignore food quality and food quantity. So food quantity, how many calories you're taking in, is essentially going to dictate whether or not that scale goes up and down. Food quality is the amount of nutrition that you're putting in your body, the vitamins, the minerals. So the food quantity is going to help you with the weight. The food quality is going to help with how you feel and how you look. If you just have food quality, so if you're focusing on eating healthy but not really focusing on the amount, you can feel great, but you're either going to maintain your weight or you're going to increase your weight. You can gain weight by eating nothing but healthy foods. And conversely, if you're only focusing on food quantity, your macros might be on point, but you're not really eating healthy. You might lose weight, but you're going to feel like crap and you're probably not going to like the overall transformation as well. So make sure you focus both on quantity and quality. Number 6, thou shalt not ignore steps. So if exercise, when it comes to strength training, is the foundational element, exercise when it comes to daily movement should be the secondary aspect. The best way to lose body fat, of course, is to burn more calories than you're taking in. The best way to do that is to control your calories. But if you want to burn the most calories, it's not through exercise. It's not during your 1-hour workout session. It's through the accumulation of movement throughout the day. One of the best ways to do this is to track your steps. We always like to say 10,000 steps is an arbitrary goal, which works great, but move more, reap the benefits. Number 7, thou shalt not have weekend binges. Now, don't get me wrong. You can have a little more discretion on the weekends if you want to have some extra food or maybe you're a little bit more social. That's totally fine. But a lot of guys go into the weekend with the mentality of, I was really good Monday through Friday, so I can do whatever I want on the weekends. 5 good days versus 2 bad days. Fortunately, our body doesn't work that way. 1 or 2 bad days can completely override the 5 good days, not even allowing you to not lose weight, but actually to gain weight. So be very careful with your weekend binges. Make sure everything adds up into a weekly average rather than good days versus bad days. Number 8, thou shalt not be impatient. Fat loss takes time. Sustained fat loss takes time. One of the things that I've seen over and over and over again is the faster someone loses weight, the faster they are more likely to put it back on again. And a way that I like to reframe this when people are getting very impatient and they want to lose weight really quickly is for me to ask them, how long did it take for you to actually put this weight on? Usually it's months, years, decades, and they expect it all to come off in weeks, which is just an unfair expectation. So you want to do it slowly, you want to do it in a healthy way, you want to make sure it's sustainable, and be patient and trust the process. If you have to make adjustments along the way, that's fine, but don't be so tied to your outcome that you give up when it doesn't happen as quickly as you would like. Number 9, thou shalt not ignore sleep. So sleep has direct and indirect effect on your fat loss. Now, there is a very strong correlation between how well someone sleeps and how well they actually lose fat and improve their body composition. Sleep is going to help with recovery, which is super important during fat loss because your body's already going through a lot of strain with your nervous system because you're eating less and moving more, which means recovery is even more important. And one of, if not the best ways to recover is through your sleep. When you sleep well, you have more energy, your workouts are going to be good. You also make better food choices. People who are sleep deprived tend to take in more calories than those who sleep well. So don't ignore sleep. And then number 10, the last one, thou shalt not do it alone. Now, don't get me wrong, you can. There are people that have done this alone and have succeeded long term, but it's very difficult to do so. Environment, having a support system really helps. So whether that's a coach, a trainer, a friend, a family member, maybe you're doing it with them, or maybe it's even just having a supportive environment, because that is going to make a huge difference. If you have a very incongruent environment to what your goals are, it's almost like relying on motivation or willpower. Eventually, it's going to fade. You want to set yourself up for success. You want other people to be along on this journey with you, and you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in a good position to be able to succeed, not just now, but long-term and down the road as well. Okay, guys, so those are the 10 biggest cardinal sins that I see when it comes to fat loss. Do an audit on yourself, see which ones, if any, you're making, and try to adjust them right away. If you enjoy videos like this, do us a huge favor, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.